Hey, what's up everybody? Shaun Surgener here. Just want to give you a quick little tip, some advice on how you can actually start saving money, okay? Because that's one thing that a lot of us really struggle with is like, how can I actually start saving money? We know we should save, we know we should invest, and we need to invest and multiply our money and build passive income, do all these things. Like, we get it, okay? We all know this, but how do you actually start saving money? Especially if you're like most of the clients that I coach, my friends and family that I help out, things like that. And you know, the problem is that you don't make enough money to actually start saving money, okay? A lot of us know we should save money, but it's like, you know, well, if I can get that job promotion, if I can start making a little more money, of course I'll start saving money at that point. I know it's important. But that's the thing. This is a mindset shift that has to occur, and it's going to make such a huge difference, and something that I also had to learn, and it's a shift that I had to make so I could go from really kind of struggling to save money to starting to stack the cash and starting to invest in my first real estate deals. You know, a few years ago I invested in a 20 real estate property deal. I started collecting passive income. This past year I started doing property flips, and I really started, over the last handful of years or so, started really making a major dent in my financial future, creating passive income, working towards financial freedom. But none of that would have happened had I not made this mental shift quite a few years back. And it's that it's not about how much you make. You know, we have these excuses of, once I make more money, I'll be able to save money. And this is the same thing I run into my clients, and we have to shift this. It's, you have to get out of the mindset of, like, I have to make more money or I can't save until I do. The new mindset shift is, regardless of how much I make, I'm going to start saving X percent of my income, okay? So that could be 10%, 20%, however much. My advice is, at the bare minimum, you need to be saving 10% of your income. If you're not saving 10% of your income, you probably don't even have much of a shot at a decent retirement, let alone financial freedom, lifestyle choices, you know, being able to live life on your terms. If you're wanting to have that, you know, you need to be saving probably at least 20% or more, at least for a while. But anyways, our new mindset has to be, regardless of how much I make, I'm going to start saving 10%, 20%. And then you work backwards from there. You reverse engineer the whole thing. All right, so you start listing your income. Okay, let's say you make $2,000 a month, and you commit to saving 10%. Say you start with 10%. That means you're saving $200 a month. 10% of $2,000 is $200. And then you begin listing your expenses, your fixed expenses, your variable expenses. Okay, your fixed expenses are, you know, things that don't change, like your rent, your insurance, your car payments, all these fixed bills. You know, your Netflix, your Hulu. Then you list your variable expenses, things like your food, the bills that fluctuate depending on how much you spend. And you start figuring out, okay, how can I cut 10%, 20% of my food costs? Do I eat out a lot? Do I spend a lot of money on drinks? Can I cut that back? And then you start looking at, how do I cut my fixed expenses? You know, like, can I get a roommate? Can I, you know, share a room with somebody? You know, some of you are probably thinking like, dude, I'm 30 years old. I'm 40 years old. I'm 50 years old. Man, I can't get a roommate. I'm too old for that. You know, okay. You know, are you too old to get a roommate? In my opinion, you're too old to not be getting ahead. You know, we got to drop our egos. Okay, this is just a temporary thing, but you're gonna have to get extreme with it. Start figuring out, how do you cut your bills, and you work it out to a point to where your monthly expenses allows you to save your 10% or your 20%, and those combined equal your income, and that's how you start. And then you just do more and more from there, and then you start looking on, how do I then make more money? But this idea of, like, you know, well, let me try to find an investment. Dude, you don't need to be thinking about investments. You don't need to be thinking about expanding if you can't even, you know, kind of take control of your current situation. If I was a restaurant and I had a restaurant concept and wanted to expand it nationally, if I'm losing $50,000 a year, if I try to expand, it's only going to expand and multiply my problems. So you have to take control of your current situation before you expand. Anyways, I hope this really helped you out. It's a huge shift that I can promise you is going to make a radical difference in your life. I'm going to, regardless of how much I make, I'm going to start saving this percentage. See you soon.